So what are the end games? Okay, so first one, which we've kind of highlighted already, is an end game for many business owners, well, only 33% apparently, is selling your business.
Yes.
Yeah. So the idea being is you're going to get to a point in your journey where maybe you're going to exit it and you might start another business or do something else, or you might do nothing. But selling it, the proceeds of that business are going to be the thing that gets you into that financially independent mode, or significantly wealthy if you're lucky enough to do it in that way, where you can enjoy your retirement years.
Yep.
That's your end game. And I want to put this in as well. Retirement's whatever you want to make it. You can start another business. You can do whatever you want, but that's the one that's there. Second one, passing it on to kids, which we've hinted on as well. So at some point in the journey, you're going to start transitioning out, and the next generation is going to take that over from there. I want to throw a little one in on this as well, is that this might be passing on to an employee in the business.
Like a second in charge or something.
It could be an uncle, right? It's just, it doesn't matter who it is, but it's a passing it on method is the end game.
Yep.
All right. The third one is a cash cow. So this is where there is no intention to shut down the business. There is no intention to sell the business. You are just going to milk this thing for all it's worth. And commonly this is like lifestyle businesses where someone like wants to do it in their retirement years. But there's other ones out there like patent businesses. So if you think of like I'll use J.K. Rowling as an example, where she's written these Harry Potter books and then she's going to continue to receive royalties from the book in itself. So she may not look to be selling the overall rights to Harry Potter, but she'll continue to milk that for all it's worth. There's a ton of different ones, as you can see, like franchises fall into that, rent roll, licensing businesses,
patents, everything. Yep.
Maybe at another point we should highlight the attractiveness of some of these business models, which are really cool. And hopefully people are understanding that different end games are only available to certain businesses and business types here as well, and you need to be aware of the one you're in.
The caveat on that, like, did you know that when we spoke about cash cows, it wasn't like a services business that's got high profit, because again, like trends suggest that it's not going to be around forever. So it's like everything that we've referred to is kind of like pretty darn stable to an extent. Like you just can't go and produce a new Harry Potter. Like it's like it will be around for probably her lifetime, where she's not sitting there going, maybe I'm going to have a second one of these, Charlie. Like it's like, no, cool, like quite stable.
So let's come back to that point. I'll read the last one, and then I think the most important starting point is understanding what end games are available to you based on the business you're in.
Can I guess the last one?
Well, you've got the notes.
Pretend like I don't.
Okay. Yes, you can guess it.
Close it.
Yes. I think people are surprised by how common that is as well.
I reckon out of all these, that is probably the most common. Like if you were to put a percentage to sell out, give to kids, or call it pass on. So sell out, pass on, cash cows, and closing. I reckon closing would be easily above 50% of businesses. I think it's just the easier approach. It's just like, cool, well, I got it to this point and no one wants it. I'm out. I'm done. Actually.
So if you've done so well in business and you've been following the idea that you're investing outside your business and you've accumulated a huge portfolio of all of it, real estate, stocks, invested in other businesses, you've got a great superannuation, all these things. Closing is a great option. Like, what do you need it for? The burden of running the business might be the thing chewing up your time, and you might want to get good at golf or start another business.
Golf, that's great. But I think on the other side, a lot of people just end up having to close because they've got no other choice. No other choice. Like that's
assumptively they thought it would sell, and then they're faced with the reality that isn't what's going to happen.
Or assumptively they thought their kid would take it on, or assumptively they thought it would be a cash cow, to which it all was not.
I would make the argument that I think closing it can make a lot of sense for people as well. If you do it well, it can be a great option.
It's not even a negative option. It's just most of the time.
I love that framing.
Yeah.
Can I use an example of that before we dig back into that point?
Do it.
Let's say you're in the wind down mode of a business, right? And 5 years from now, I'm planning on closing it. So rather than having the realization that you have to close it, you actually set the intention 5 years from now, I'm shutting this thing down. All your decision making then turns into, how do I extract the most out of this and sell this down in a way where I can move that into investing assets to look after me once this is done?
Totally. Or that it's just how can I minimize expenses as much, extract out as much profit, and just let this thing fizzle out. Clients will start leaving. New clients won't come on board and it will just continue to fizzle out. And I'll just go,
Well, you're not going to invest in things that aren't going to pay off
Totally.
for 10 years if you know you're on a 5-year run, right?
yeah, you're not going to come out with new products. You're not going to change anything. It's just like, cool, lifestyle. Let's see where this lands.
Maximization of profits.
Exactly.
So strategically, that can be a really, really good play. I like that a lot. Let's go back to this other point, though, and then I think we can dig into each of these a bit more. The first thing I had a very real realization of is the end games that are available to you are very dependent on the business model you're in. Very.
Totally. To the point that the business model that you select at the start will force you into not having specific end games.
So to use some examples here, and I look at these ones here. If you're in, I'm going to use an actor as an example here. So if you're Brad Pitt, right, your end game is very much going to be tailored around like you are the work.
Yep.
Right. And I know actors and stuff and maybe that is a bad example because a lot of them get royalties as well on the side of things.
If they've negotiated well, like there was a kid on like Superbad that got royalties and he's got paid more than most people.
Amazing.
It's just because the others.
All right,
just
I'm going to change it. It's
Okay,
a personally branded coaching business.
go for it.
Okay, so you're someone today that's the personal brand of your business. You run a podcast, you run a coaching business, and it's you doing the work, right? It's not a very attractive business model to sell.
Yeah,
because the only way a sale would get made in that way, well, there's actually two ways. One is you sell it and agree to be an employee of that business and keep running it, which probably doesn't fit your end game.
Yep.
Or two is that you're going to have to transition that whole business to being one where you're not the face of it.
Totally.
Only person I've seen pull that off really well would be Brad Sugars with Action Coach.
Action Coach. Yeah.
But in general, I haven't seen a lot of coaching businesses sell well. And when I say sell well, is like even the multiple they get on them if they do sell is quite low.
But even I've seen businesses that have been taken over by other people, and so they run it, and then they pay them like a model fee. So every month you get paid, or like a large percentage of revenue. But the problem is that they stop being congruent with the brand. To use your fitness example, imagine having someone that like really fit and looks good, and then you come and buy the business from me. What's the incentive for me to continue looking fit and doing good because I'm not running the business anymore? So then you have the risk of me not being congruent with it. Like there's just so many other things that come into play.
Well, in the case of endgames, the very much intention is to go do something else.
Totally.
So it's
gain weight.
If someone's been a fitness model their entire life and goes, you know what, I want to try on this being overweight thing. Who am I to say?
What was that guy that went like from fit to fat to fit?
Great documentary. Great documentary.
It's totally.
Hey, fellow business owner, if this topic and value-packed short video has resonated with you at all, and you want to dive deeper into creating wealth inside and outside your business, check out the full episode by clicking the link on your screen or in the description right now.